again. This channel is called What Brings Karina Joy. I'm Karina Joy, and this is my December TBR. So, in the past, I've been very ambitious, I guess you could say, about my TBRs, and sometimes I go a little overboard and I'll have like 20 or 30 books on my TBRs, and I never really have gone month to month. I've always just been like, these are the books I'm reading, and you know, however long it took me to finish those books is what it would be. The problem with that is I tend to get bored with the books that I'm reading, and sometimes I drag them out for a very long time, and it'll take me months and months, maybe even a year. So I'm gonna try to do something different. I'm gonna try to do month to month TBRs, and I'm gonna shorten the list, and hopefully that'll get me a little more excited about reading the books that I want to read. So I am going to, starting this month, every month I'm going to post a video in the middle of the month that will have 4 reading prompts, and it will be the What Brings You Joy reading challenge. It's mainly my challenge, but I will make up 4 prompts every month. You can follow along if you want. It'll just be, I like to theme my prompts off of things I'm reading, so it'll probably be something like that. This month's is completely and totally Christmas inspired. So I'm gonna go ahead and read you the prompts that I made up, and then I already have some books picked out and some books that I'm weighing between. So I'll show you that. And then those are my prompts for this month. Starting in January, I will also have an alphabet challenge, which I'll tell you more about in another video. And then I'll have those 4 prompts, and then I will leave myself room for 3 or 4 books that I'm just excited about and that don't fit any kind of prompts or anything, but just so that I have some room for some mood reading rather than just sticking to what I challenged myself for. So this is the Christmas inspired What Brings You Joy reading challenge. Prompt number 1, read a book with red or green on the cover. Prompt number 2 is read a book by an author that has written more than 25 books. And then prompt number 3 is read a book that has winter or Christmas vibes. And then book number 4, good grief, not book, prompt number 4, read an Advent book. Okay, so I will post that list down in the description box so that you have it for reference. I know it's close to the end of the month, so I'm not imagining that a whole lot of people will join in this month. Next month, I plan to post the list and some ideas middle of the month, and then I will show you my TBR toward the end of the month so you can see what I picked. But for the first prompt, I have a book with red and green on the cover, and I actually have a couple of different ones. I have 3. So I have this one, which is an obvious choice. It's a classic Christmas. It has A Christmas Carol and some poems, some short stories with authors like Louisa May Alcott and L.M. Montgomery and Hans Christian Andersen. So that's an obvious choice because it is very Christmas themed. Another one I have is James Harriott. I even asked my daughter, does this look like it has red and green on the cover? Because I couldn't tell if this was like green or like some kind of weird faded blue. She said yes, so I'm gonna put this in the running. And then the other one I just hold in my book outlet video is Just So Stories by Rudyard Kipling. So I have a dilemma because when it comes to the prompt with the winter and Christmas vibes, I have a couple that I really think I want to try to read. So I think that's going to eliminate this book because, oh wait, no. That might mean this book has to be the red and green one because I want that other prompt for the other books. I also really want to read this one. Oh, I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to put Just So Stories aside. Okay. I really, really, really want the winter themed books, and I'll show you them in a minute. So I think I'm going to pick this one for a book with red and green on the cover. So my pick for that prompt is A Classic Christmas. Okay, so the next prompt is read a book by an author that has written more than 25 books. And I actually have a couple for this one too. And consequently, or coincidentally, I don't know. This one, Rudyard Kipling has written more than 25 books. James Harriott has more than 25 books. But I think this is the one I'm going to go with because I'm the most excited about it, and that's Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. These two I'm excited about reading because I really like animal stories. But I also like sci-fi. I think I'm going to go with Skyward. That was the one that I had in my brain. So I'm going to do that. So my book for read a book by an author that has 25 books or more, or that has written 25 books or more, is Skyward. The next prompt is a book with winter or Christmas vibes. And I have two that I'm excited about. Okay, so we have Between Shades of Grey and Snow Child. Okay, these are like the quintessential winter themed books. I mean, these are giving off some serious winter vibes. There's snow on some eyelashes and a little girl in a snowy forest. So these are definitely going to give me winter vibes. I've already started reading this one, but it was one of those that I had like 20 or 30 books on my TBR at that time, and I did not finish it. So I kept it because it wasn't that I wasn't interested, I just was too ambitious. So this one is about a couple that lives in Alaska, and they're kind of isolated out in the middle of nowhere. There's a town close by, but not super close. And they had wanted children, but couldn't have any. And it's about them moving to this isolated area, their loneliness, their struggle with infertility. And then they find this little girl in the snow. And I'm thinking, I haven't gotten that far, but I've heard that there is some magical realism in here. Could be wrong. I might be saying it wrong, but it sounds really good. The other one I've heard good things about. I'm going to read the back because I've only heard about this book a couple of times and I found it in the library, and so I'm not like really well versed on what it is. But it's Lithuania, June 1941. 15-year-old Lena is preparing for art school and looking forward to summer. In the dark of night, there is a knock at the door and life is forever changed. Soviet secret police arrest Lena, her mother, and her younger brother, tearing their family apart. The three are hauled from their home and thrown into cattle cars where they soon discover their destination. The librarian, when I bought this book, said this was one of her favorites and that it was sad. Oh, I don't know. And I don't know, this one might have sad vibes too. Okay, so which one do I want for this prompt? I've heard such great things about both books, so I'm kind of like, I don't know. I think I'm gonna go with The Snow Child because I've already started it and I was interested and I really like the cover, and I'm afraid this might be too sad for Christmas season because it's supposed to be happy, right? So that's gonna be my book for a book that has winter vibes. Okay, and then the last one is read an Advent book, and I just shared this in my haul for Book Outlet, and it is Keeping Christmas. It is a 25 Advent reflection on A Christmas Carol. So I plan on reading this along with A Christmas Carol and kind of diving into the story more. I've always been very intrigued about Scrooge as a character and how he changes so much from one extreme to another, and it's reminded me so much of salvation and what God can do to a person. Sorry, I just kicked my tripod. But what God can do for a person and completely change their lives. So I'm interested. I want to see what her thoughts are on this book. This is by Allison Pittman. So that's my Advent book. So these are the 4 books for my What Brings You Joy reading challenge for December. Okay, now these other books are just books that I kind of want to get to this month. Either that or finish because okay, so since July, I've had a really slow reading routine because we've had so much going on. So July we had summer camp for my kids, and then August was okay, but we started school and all of that. And then at the end of August, my husband's grandmother passed away and we had to go to Indiana for the funeral. And then a week after we got back, we had a hurricane hit and we were without power for 4.5 days. And then about 2 weeks after that, my brother and sister-in-law came to visit from Wyoming. So we visited with them. And then this last week, my husband had to go back to Indiana because his other grandmother passed away. And so he had to go to that funeral. So in the midst of all of that, I haven't done as much reading as I'd like to. And so I have some books that I've started a while ago and haven't finished. So I know that was a lot, but that's just why I haven't been reading. So I'm hoping things have calmed down. Maybe I can get back to a good reading routine again, because the first part of the year I did really well. I read quite a few books, and then from July until now it's been rough. So I talked about this in another video, Close to Shore. I talked about this in my video about In Another Girl's Shoes. This is about some shark attacks that happened off the East Coast. I think it's Pennsylvania, somewhere in there. I know that the main characters live in Pittsburgh, but I don't think there's a beach in Pennsylvania. I could be wrong. I'd have to look at a map. But they're from Pittsburgh. They go to the beach. Shark attacks happen. And this is a true story. So I want to finish this book. The writer of this book has done a very good job. It is a narrative nonfiction. And so I would like to finish this in December. That way by the new year, I've already finished this book. Okay. Another book I'd like to get to is Half Broke Horses. This is a biography about a woman who, at 15, she leaves home to teach in a frontier town. So I'm very interested in this. I'd like to get to it. December tends to have a little bit more time for me to sit down and kind of enjoy reading because we take school a little slower, which of course I do read a ton to my kids, but we take school a little slower and there's lots of time off. So I'm hoping I can read a few more books this month than I have been. So that's another one I want to get to. And then this one, it's called, let's see, that's right. It's called Left to Tell. This book I started, I want to say around July. It's a biography about a woman in Rwanda, I believe. Yes. So it's a biography about a woman that survived the Rwandan Holocaust in the 90s. And I really want to finish it. I'm right at the part where all stuff starts to go down and I'm scared to read it. I think it's going to be very sad. I know it's going to be very sad, but I want to know more about this topic and subject. And so I'd like to finish this book before the end of the year. And then the very last book that I'd like to try to finish this month, and I don't know if it's going to happen, is Great Expectations. This is a copy that I bought when I was 16 at a used bookstore, and I read, I want to say about half of it when I was a young adult. I don't think I was in my teens, but I didn't finish it. And so I'd like to finish it, but classics are difficult for me. I have to kind of sit on them and digest them a little bit more than other books because the language is a little bit different. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not smart enough. But yeah, so I'm going to try to finish Great Expectations in December. And the reason why I want to finish this is mainly because it's a giant book that I've started and I want to get it done by the end of the year. That is my goal. Get it done. One of my other goals is to finish the Bible. I am in Zechariah right now. And so I have Zechariah, Malachi, and then the New Testament. I'd like to get it done by January 1st, and then I'm going to try to read the Bible 2 or 3 times in a year from here on out. But we shall see. Sometimes it's hard for me to take it in big chunks. Sometimes I have to read it a little slower so that I can kind of dive into it and understand it more. And I like to study it out a little bit more, so sometimes I don't read it very fast, but I'm that close to being done, and so I'm kind of hoping that I can get that done by January 1st. So anyway, that's my plans for my December TBR. I don't know if I'll achieve these plans, but I'm going to try really, really hard because I want to. So this is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 books, and then obviously the end of the Bible. So it'll be, I want to say that the New Testament is roughly maybe like 300 to 500 pages. So it's like another whole book all on its own. Of course, it's like 27 books, but we won't go there. Okay. So this is my December TBR. guys for watching. I will be posting another video soon. I'm really excited about the end of the year and what's coming up next year. I have a couple of challenges that I'm going to be announcing in the middle of December. Just some fun things that I wanted to do for myself, and I thought that maybe some other people would like to join in. So keep an eye out for those. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, like and subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell so that you'll get notifications when I post a new video. See you later.